Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and demystify the ultimate coral tank showdown, deciding between a mixed reef and an SPS-dominant system. If you've been in the saltwater hobby for any amount of time, you already know this is the big crossroads. You stare at that empty glass box and ask yourself, what kind of ecosystem are we actually trying to build here? But the truth is, this massive decision is heavily anchored by one core element of your life support system, and that's your lighting. Let's kick things off with this absolutely crucial point. Choosing your setup isn't about which tank is objectively best. It's really about the level of control you desire, with lighting acting as the ultimate deciding factor. We often think we're just out there picking corals, but really, we're choosing a lighting and stability regimen. You have to ask yourself, are you aiming for a highly adaptable environment, or are you chasing maximum growth potential with extremely tight parameters? Here's the roadmap for our head-to-head comparison today. First, the reef lighting dilemma, followed by the mixed reef setup. Then, we'll contrast that with the SPS-Dominant tank, look at planning your lighting strategy, and finish up with your quick decision guide. Section 1, the reef lighting dilemma. Why lighting dictates your tank. Before we get too deep in the weeds of this comparison, let's quickly establish our baseline with SPS corals. We all know these represent the high-stakes, high-reward side of the reefing hobby. These species, think your acroporas and montiporas, demand significantly higher light and way more stable conditions than your average reef coral. Understanding this intense demand is pretty much the anchor for everything we're about to discuss. Section 2, the mixed reef setup, the forgiving ecosystem. So a mixed reef provides an incredible visual diversity of soft corals, LPS, and a handful of SPS, all thriving alongside your fish and inverts. This format is incredibly popular and for good reason. It supports a broad range of photosynthetic life, giving you that gorgeous visual variety without requiring absolutely perfect, unchanging water parameters. It's a bit more forgiving. But, the flexibility of a mixed reef naturally comes with some inherent complexities. On the pro side, you have fantastic zoning flexibility. You can place your higher light corals up top and tuck lower light corals in the shade. It's also super easy to future-proof if you want to add a small SPS collection down the line. But on the con side, because your lighting is tuned for a middle ground, it's so much harder to maximize SPS growth. Highlight SPS species might stall out or even bleach if they aren't positioned perfectly. Plus, trying to balance multiple coral requirements at once makes troubleshooting a real headache. If a coral loses tissue, is it your lighting, is it nutrients, flow, or maybe it's chemical warfare between species? Allelopathy. It's a lot to juggle. Section 3, the SPS-Dominant tank. Intensity, stability, and strict control. Pivoting over to highly specialized systems, your entire strategy completely shifts. An SPS tank is designed entirely around high power at target depths, precise placement, and incredibly smooth, stable daily light output. Because SPS responds so strongly to any changes, your lighting selection and your programming become absolutely central to your success. Smooth ramping schedules and stable daily output, those aren't just suggestions here. They literally require you to tightly control intensity day in and day out. And here's the trade-off. On the pro side, you get truly spectacular results, high growth rates, crisp branching structures, and that vivid polyp extension we all love. Once your targets are locked in, your decisions are perfectly streamlined around one specific coral type. But the cons? Well, this strict husbandry is completely unforgiving. Highlight setups will rapidly expose any other weaknesses in your system. Inefficient nutrient export, inconsistent flow, or even a minor alkalinity swing will trigger bleaching in your SPS way faster than it ever would in a mixed tank. Section 4. Planning your lighting strategy. Synthesis and execution. Think of it this way. For a mixed reef, you're using a zoning metaphor. You aim for a moderate overall brightness, leaving those brighter upper zones and natural shading specifically for your lower light species. For the SPS-dominant tank, it's a completely different ballgame. You focus purely on delivering strong intensity targeted precisely at the SPS canopy depth, building your light schedule around that exact placement to optimize performance. But honestly, regardless of whether you choose a mixed or SPS-dominant route, there is one universal rule of successful coral husbandry that you cannot ignore: gradual acclimation. Ultimately, raw brightness means absolutely nothing if you don't properly acclimate your corals to the light. It's really all about how predictably your light delivers usable energy across the entire aquascape. to prevent stalling or, worst case, bleaching, you absolutely must follow these gradual steps whenever you're introducing a new light fixture or dropping a new coral frag in. Step 1, introduce any changes very gradually. Step 2, monitor their short-term color response like a hawk. Step 3, watch for longer-term tissue stability. Look, I know having patience through these steps is tough, but trust me, it's a whole lot cheaper than replacing melted frags. Section 5, your quick decision guide. Choosing your path. All right, here is your definitive takeaway checklist. You need to decide right now if you prioritize visual flexibility or structured growth. Choose a mixed reef for that beautiful variety and a tolerance to minor parameter swings. Or choose an SPS-Dominant tank if you want maximum growth potential and you are genuinely comfortable with tight control. When you're planning a mixed tank, always base your lighting around your lowest tolerated coral. In an SPS tank, plan around your specific placement depth. And the universal takeaway for both? Always prioritize stability over raw power. So, I'll leave you with this to ponder. Which reef ecosystem truly fits your daily routine, your testing habits, and your personal husbandry style? Do you want the visual flexibility of a wildly diverse ecosystem? Or are you ready for the strict, deeply rewarding control of an SPS canopy? Align your lighting design with the coral types you love the most, and I promise you, either choice will result in an absolutely spectacular display. Keep researching, keep planning your dream build, and we'll see you on the next explainer.